No, absolutely not. I guarantee you they have this game circled on their calendar the moment the season started, the moment the schedule was dropped. So
all right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Another weekly edition of the BTB podcast with yours truly, Kevin, Seth, and Steve. College football week 6. We are on the heels, ladies and gentlemen, of 2 winning weeks in a row. Our model is humming. 60%, 59.5 technically, percent win rate in college football so far. It is good to be profitable. So we are humming. We got a ton of games to break down as usual, guys. We got some value propositions to talk about, edges, a free model play to talk about as well later in the show. So stick around. You're not going to want to miss any of it, but it is great to be in where we're at, frankly, guys, hitting again 60% in the model. What can I say? Feels good to win, So 7-3 this past weekend. That's 2 weekends in a row. 7-3. Yeah, the model's predictions. So we're going to keep this thing humming. You guys know the drill. Seth, Steve, we got a bunch of games to talk about, and then we got some goodies for folks towards the end here. So let's not waste the time. Huh? Let's get to breaking down some of these matchups for week 6 coming up. How about an SEC one? Texas going against Florida. Market standpoint, Seth, this one opened at 7 largely, bought to 6.5, now largely back at 7. We make this number -8, so not looking like we have any value or a position to take on this game specifically. But an interesting matchup for me, and just because Florida has obviously been highly disappointing to this point in the season.
Yeah.
The market over-under is at 42, so presumptively a defensive battle is incoming, right, Seth?
Yeah. Well, you said that Florida has disappointed. I got to put Texas as a higher disappointment than Florida, right? Both these teams are supposed to be competing for national championship. There was all the hype around Arch and Heisman, and neither of these teams have really played up. When we look at Texas's pass offense, 93rd. This is a 5-star in Arch Manning. And then the other 5-star on the other side of the ball, Florida pass EPA 118th. Both of these guys are supposed to be highly recruited 5-stars, and we're just not seeing it. But like you said, the offenses for both of these teams have struggled, but the defenses have not. Texas, number 9th against the pass, number 11th against the rush. Florida, not as good, but still really good defense. 50th against the pass, 26th against the rush. So, yeah, I agree with the market here. Defensive battle looks to be kind of what it's going to be. Texas right now is a run-first team. I think that also helps with the under. They're going to have to run the ball to see success more than likely. The only problem with that is that's Florida's strength between pass and run. So, this is, if there is going to be an Arch coming out party, you would think maybe this is it. And then what is Florida going to do? Texas is really good against the run. And Florida, although they aren't good throwing the ball, they've been doing it. They just can't get away from it. 7% pass rate over expected. So they're forcing their hand with Lagway and just hoping that one of these games he's going to go off. This is going to be an ugly game. We have Texas like the market does, basically by one possession. But in a one-possession SEC game, anything can happen, especially with 2 bad offenses.
Yeah. Yes, Steve, we've talked about, we oftentimes in matchup, we say, it's a strength on strength. This feels like Seth is kind of saying the opposite, like cheeks on cheeks, particularly with the offense. Like it's not been pretty for both of these teams. And I forget who said this, and I wish I could give them credit, but specifically to Manning, yeah, I think I agree with you, Seth. Like probably more disappointing just based on expectations, if nothing alone. But Manning has, a 5-star name and has been basically a 3-star talent on the field. Like it's not been great. So Steve, from a script perspective, and then how we see this one playing out, or how you see it playing out, like given all those factors, like does Florida have a pathway to win this one?
Yeah, never say never, but this is to me the perfect game for both of these quarterbacks. And we talked about DJ Lagway a lot last year. We were over on Florida team total last year, and DJ Lagway had this breaking out party. He's really never been the same since that injury. But I agree with Seth. The bigger disappointment here has been Arch Manning through and through. And listen, I'm not trying to, say this is the end of the world, end of his career, but you take a little bit of a deeper look on what's going on. There's nothing really to be excited about if you're a Texas fan. We all know what happened in Ohio State game, 14-7, close defensive battle. Sure, his first real start in a hostile environment, whatever. Since then, 3 straight wins by an average of 34 points, which, yeah, that sounds great. But when you peel it back, you've got who? San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston State, right? Against UTEP, there was an absolute disaster of a game. 10 straight incompletions for Manning at one point. He had boos from the fan. I mean, he just looked really fragile. And then against Sam Houston, yeah, they bounced back, put up 55 on him. He had a great game, 5 total touchdowns. But again, this is one of the worst defenses in college football, 122nd to be exact here. So I don't know if that's really the game where you say, oh man, Arch is back, when we talk about actual competition, especially in conference. And then on the other side here, we've had Florida, who again, another offensively abysmal team. 1-3, worst start since I think 1986, right? In their last 3 games, they've only scored 33 points. They lost to USF, lost to LSU. We lost to Miami. In that LSU game, Lagway had 5 interceptions. And let me point out, by the way, because we've been big LSU haters all year, 5 interceptions, and LSU or Florida almost covered. They lost by 10. That was 9.5, right? So if you're an LSU fan, I just don't think this is your year. But anyway, going back to Florida here, Lagway's only had 1 deep completion. Like, this to me has just been a mess on offense through and through when it comes to the passing game. But to Seth's point, they kind of have to keep doing it, keep forcing themselves to do it. So the one thing that scares me about this, if you're a Florida fan, is we know Arch has not looked great throwing the ball, but Florida's defense is starting to get decimated with injuries. Cornerback Dijon Johnson out for the year, knee surgery. Cornerback Aaron Gates out for the year. 3 defensive linemen and Caleb Banks, LJ McCray, and Mekhi Burrell are all going to be out here. So if you can't generate pressure and you're going to give Arch a lot of time to throw, that to me is the difference on how this Texas team can really separate themselves, even though both these offenses are woeful. And the last thing I'll say, we have Texas as the 3rd best overall power rated defense. That's going to pose a problem for Florida. So to me, I'm leaning on the defense to win this, and I think Texas just has enough of the key pieces. I'm not a Marsh Manning fan, but I think they have more here to get it done.
Yeah, this one really is kind of shaping up to be ugly, kind of on both sides. I mean, the markets at the over-unders at 42. It's been bought down like 2.5 points.
46.5, right? Is when it opened at.
Yeah, Circa opened at something kind of a little higher than some of the other makers, but yeah, it's been bought down from its existing stance already. So not potentially going to be a pretty sight. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like, I think I agree with you, Seth. Like, if this is a game that's a potential get right for or not, maybe you said it, Steve, get right for Arch. This might be it. So we'll see. We don't have any value on this one. We're pretty much right on market. So we'll be sitting back and watching the slot play out. We'll see what happens.
Just for all the weekend warriors out there, if you think they win by a touchdown and you can get a 6.5, that covers 52.0% of the time. So -4.4 percentage, just for all the bros that are going to be throwing them back. Yeah, I mean, these defenses are good. Number 27 and 28 in points per equal. I mean, these defenses, they're both about a field goal that they give up. So, I mean, yeah, if there's a game for Arch to get right, you highlighted the injuries. This could be it.
Could be it.
I'm not banking on it.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's not go far, though. We got another game to talk about in the SEC. But before we do, appreciate everyone being in here. Chat, speak up. Let us know what you think in the comments about these teams, about these matchups. If you want to know certain things about what our data is saying, what our numbers saying, please let us know. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. Please also stay subscribed, or subscribe to the channel, rather. You'll have those notifications on every single time we go live. You'll be able to sit, chat, talk ball, talk numbers with us every single week. But yeah, let's not go far, boys. Let's stay in the SEC. A revenge game, next one up, potentially for Bama, right? Vanderbilt and Alabama. Market standpoint, Steve, this one opened at 12, now largely 10.5 in favor of Bama. Again, one that we're kind of right on market, right now. So we're not showing any value on either side here. But yeah, is this something where Bama, coming off a very physical, intense game with Georgia last week, is revenge on the mind? And is that a good thing, actually, that Vandy beat them last week and that they're ranked? Because the one bugaboo with Bama and Kalen DeBoer, really even dating back to Washington, is they don't get up for these weaker opponents. But now Vandy's ranked. They're a good ass team.
Yeah, I'll take it a step further. No, there's zero doubt in my mind that this is on there. Listen, it's not that just that Vandy beat Bama last year. Vandy beat Bama when Bama was ranked number 1 last year. Vandy beat Bama as a 24.5 point dog last year. I don't want to hear any of this. Oh, they can't get up because they just beat Georgia. No, absolutely not. I guarantee you they have this game circled on their calendar the moment the season started, the moment the schedule was dropped. So, no, I don't buy that whatsoever. Yeah, but this is going to be a good matchup, 100%. And I want to take a second to give this man his flowers when they're due. Seth sat on his show last week and said, if you are looking at dogs, if you're looking at dark horses for Heisman, you got to take a look at Ty Simpson. I think it was plus 2,200 at the time.
Plus 2,200.
Yeah, if you come through and he beats Georgia with Mateer being sidelined for the year, someone's got to eat up that value. And I think he's down to plus 900 or something like that right now.
Second most likely. I think behind Dante Moore only. Yeah, so number 2 is plus 950 is the best odds I saw.
Oh, wow, even behind Carson Beck. Okay. Yeah, so you look at Ty Simpson. I mean, I think this is going to be obviously the story that people are going to look at here. 92.4 PFF grade with a clean pocket, 11 touchdowns, no picks. But when you pressure him, surprise, surprise, just like pretty much any other quarterback, they start to crumble. And that's where Vanderbilt is going to have to stand up. But it's not going to be an easy task because Alabama came into the season with the number 1 ranked O-line, and it's been showing. Now, we talked about this last week. Go back to the tape. One of the things we were concerned about in that Georgia game was the ability for Georgia to get pressure against Ty Simpson, and they really didn't do it. Simpson was only pressured 5 times out of 40 dropbacks. So if you're going to be Alabama, you can keep Simpson upright, you can keep that pocket clean. He can do what he does best and pick apart these defenses. Now, on the other side, everyone loves the good underdog story, right? Diego Pavia, we've been saying this name for going on 2 years now. He is definitely evolved in this quarterback role. Last year, Vanderbilt was one of the highest running RPO teams in the nation. Pavia is now a pure drop back passer. Don't get me wrong, they still run the RPO, but he has evolved being able to throw as a legit pocket passer. He's top 10 overall in drop back passing efficiency. And so for me, it's going back to which of these quarterbacks can stay clean, which of these quarterbacks can make the fewer mistakes and be able to pick apart this defense. We've known Diego has done it before, so there's no real reason that I don't think he could do it again. The last thing I'll say, the time of possession in this. Last year when Vanderbilt upset Alabama, they held the ball for 42 minutes to Bama's 18. Can they reproduce that script? Play keep away, because clearly there's been a recipe for success, but easier said than done.
Yeah. And one of the bigger differences too, I think from last year, Seth, is Vandy this year is a certified top 10 offense. Like they are legit, right? And yeah, last year I wouldn't say they were terrible by any stretch, but like this has been top to bottom, start to finish, a good offense. So that's an added really team dynamic that really wasn't quite as prevalent last year.
Yeah, it wasn't as apparent. I mean, you're right. Vanderbilt is the number 3 overall passing offense in our database and number 9 overall rushing offense. That beats out Alabama at 5 and 74 on their offense. And then on defense, this Vandy team is not bad either, which is quite interesting. 64th against the pass, 28th against the rush. And so when you look across the board, Vandy can definitely ball, and they're definitely going to be able to compete. So you're going to look at this 10.5 and say, damn, that's way too many points. Pavia's balling out. But I want to bring us back to reality. I want to bring us back to a point that we talk about all the time on this podcast. And unfortunately for Vandy, this definitely falls in that category. And we need to look at who these teams have played, one, and then their talent overall. When we look at the stats that Vandy has put up, this is against the 88th easiest schedule. So they've had a fairly easy schedule, where Alabama's had the 4th hardest strength of schedule. And then when we look at 24/7 talent composites, which is a huge predictor, Alabama's the number 2 overall talented roster. Vandy, 55th. So Vandy's roster, although they're balling out, although Pavia is doing all these crazy things, I fear that last year was lightning in a bottle, new coaching staff, new everything. This Alabama team is obviously not going to overlook this game. Yeah. I think that this 10 number is probably right. Our model number is right on here. And I just want to point that out again for everybody, because you're gonna look at the stats and it's gonna feel compelling. Why can't Vandy win this game? And look, they can win the game. It's just, I think the probabilities are probably accurate here for the money line, just because of that talent disparity. Now, can Vandy shock the world again? We'll see. We'll see. But I think that's why we're seeing the numbers be what they are. Even though on paper Vandy looks amazing, it looks like a great value buy, it's really not.
Yeah, Speaking of great value buy, yeah, the questions about Vandy winning the game. No questions about our model winning the market, baby. Again, 7-3 weekend. That's 2 in a row. We are hitting 60% of the plays this season so far. Tons of value. If anyone's curious or thinking about wanting to join, we've had several new subscribers over the past couple of days. So that's been cool to see. If you guys are interested in joining, head over to our website, btb-analytics.com. Some of the season has passed, so we have made an adjustment, a decrease basically to our season-long pricing as well. So another opportunity, another entry point for folks to jump into the rest of the season. Go on this ride with us. We're profitable, again, in college and making headways in NFL as well. You'll get access to all of our plays all season long. Boys, all right, let's move on from the SEC. Take a break. We might come back to it. Who knows? But let's move on to a big oh my God, I'm spacing it. Is this a Big 12?
Yeah, Big 12.
Big 12.
Big
Jesus
12.
Christ.
Yeah,
all right, had a brain fart for a second.
Yeah.
The biggest of the 12, even though there's like 20
it's a
teams
Big
in
12
there
game
now.
because the spread's so short.
Ooh, okay.
Just all these teams are the same team.
Let's talk about it then. All right, Iowa State versus the Cincinnati Bearcats, baby. So this open had a pick 'em largely. Circa had Iowa State favored by 2, and now the number 14 team in the country, 1.5 point dogs going into Cincy on this one. So we make this number currently -2 in favor of Cincy. So we're not showing a ton of value, really any value on either side. Cincy, Seth, is a good offense. Again, like they're our number 5 passing offense, per our numbers. My question or concern to you is for Iowa State. So their best win is against our 58th ranked team in Kansas State. Is there any concern about their resume and what they've put on tape so far? Because Cincy coming off, they had a bad defensive game, frankly, against Kansas last week, right? I think KU was like 99th percentile in yards and EPA per dropback in that game. So it was an ugly performance, right? But
Cincy won.
But Cincy won, right? So my questions really lie with Iowa State on this one, but what's your assessment there?
Well, both teams we were on last week, and I don't know, the Iowa State take a little unfair, I think, because they've beaten the teams that they're supposed to beat, and free play. Shout out to all the people that were able to get it. I mean, they put a fucking can of whoop ass on our Arizona Wildcats. So what do what more do you want from them? And then Cincy, to your point, they won that game as a 6.5 point dog. So I don't know. I think to me, this is just classic Big 12 football, which is basically every team is the same exact team. Every team has the same roster construction. Every team has the similar recruiting class. And for me, I think for Iowa State here, if they're going to have success, it's really going to be in them trying to exploit the pass game. Since he's coming in with the number 6 overall rush defense, and my question is, with a pass rate over expected or run rate over expected rather, for Iowa State of 2%, are they going to switch their game plan and throw the ball? They look like they were willing to do so against Arizona, but we kind of knew, the model knew that was probably going to be a pretty easy matchup for them. So I don't know. I think to me, this one's really difficult. I think Cincinnati being one of the best pass EPA teams in the nation is why they're slightly favored. When it comes to predicting team success and like overall covering rates, you're going to see teams that throw the ball more slightly edge out teams that don't. And so I think this is just going to be a classic Big 12 matchup. And like we called it at the beginning of the season, this is shaping up to be like there's like 6 teams at the top. Anyone can win it on any given Saturday. I think both these teams are definitely in it.
If there's 6 teams at the top, is there anybody at the top? There's another way to say that.
They're all definitely less than 4-point spreads, depending on on a neutral field, all of them play their 4-point difference spreads.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, depending on where you look, Steve, again, this one kind of flipped, right? From Iowa State now in favor to Cincy here. So yeah, I mean, given this could be one of those classic Big 12 matchups, should we just expect chaos and fluke and variant stuff to happen here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can call it a fluke if it's the Big 12 though. Like everyone's just so bunched up. There's no real under or over dog in my mind. But yeah, I mean, this one definitely took me by surprise. And obviously, we have the model here, and the model puts Cincy's favor, which shocked me. But that's why you use it. Iowa State coming in here 5-0 for the first time, or excuse me, 5-0 for the second straight time. But they can win here and be 6-0 from the first time since like the 1930s. So they are definitely riding high here. But one of the things that Seth touched upon, I want to kind of harp on is we talk about this Iowa State team. People think about Iowa State and Big 12 football, and they're going to run. And yeah, that's definitely been Iowa State's sort of, MO historically, but they've shown us, especially this year, that they're not afraid to throw the ball with Rocco Beck there. And one of their biggest mismatches and advantages that they have here are those two tight ends. We talked about this, Ben Bramer and Gabe Urkel. They are absolute nightmares. They're explosive playmakers, and they are mismatches for linebackers. And one of the things I do want to call out again, Cincy's cornerbacks, 117th in coverage pass grade. So yeah, if Iowa State's gonna win this, I'm not saying they want to get in the shootout. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying if they're gonna want to win this game, yeah, I think they're gonna have to lean more on the pass and take advantage of that potential mismatch of Cincinnati secondary and kind of see where the cards lie. Now you have to balance that, right? You definitely live on your run, definitely be able to control that pace, but the opportunities are going to be there. We see them do it against Arizona, and we can see them doing elsewhere as well. So the only thing I would say on the other side here, Brendan Sorsby for Cincinnati, he's been playing absolutely lights out. One of the things that I did find interesting is that he is absolutely much better at going against the zone than he is his man in his passing grades. Iowa State plays zone 88% of the time. That plays right into Sorsby's wheelhouse. So again, I don't think Iowa State wants to get in the shootout. They're going to have to be careful, but I do think they have the pieces here to make this competitive. Yeah, I see this as a coin flip game, but I'm surprised Iowa State's dogs. Last thing I'll say, Iowa State 50% on third down conversions. We have them, I think, 47th overall in offensive success rate. That's going to be the key to this for me. Can they continue to stay on pace, to stay on down, to be able to convert those first downs? So if they do, they can make this a long day from Cincinnati, but I think no matter what, it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it makes sense. Chad, let us know what you think. Does the market have the wrong or right team favored in this one? Considering the move here, and kind of what our number makes it. Let us know what your guys' thoughts are on it. We got one more game to break down. And it's gonna be. This should be a fun one. Okay. I want to open this up on this one point. So we're talking about Miami. We're talking about Florida State here. Okay. ACC matchup. Miami, obviously, with Carson Beck coming into town. Florida State, obviously, I'm still basically riding high off that Alabama win. Like they're still kind of the unexpected darlings of this season, in my opinion. Market standpoint, this one opened. Oh, you gave me a face. I want to put some words to that face in a minute here.
Okay.
Yeah. So this opened at 5.5, largely in favor of Miami. Now is about -4.5. We make it our numbers right at 5.5 in favor of the Hurricanes. So not really seeing any value on either side of this one for us, but. Seth, okay. FSU is basically a train on offense. They're our number one rushing team and our number two passing team as far as efficiency goes, play by play, right? I open-ended question to you for both. If there's a weakness for these teams, where is it, and how does the other one exploit it in this matchup?
Well, okay. So first of all, you said darling. I mean, they literally got upset last week. On Friday Night Lights on national TV, Virginia rushed the field. So I want to, they lost, right? They got upset. So I just want to point that out. So there you go, right?
Fair.
If you're looking for an exploit or you're looking for some way to attack them, I mean, you don't go no further than 1 week and study what Virginia did. And they were very much just aggressive. They ran the ball and then they took their shots and they threw it with success. I'm expecting a very similar game plan for Miami, to be frank with you. But you're right. When you look at the statistics here, it's really tricky to understand where Miami is going to get this edge and exactly why they're favored. Now, they're only favored by 5.5 in a college football game. That's pretty close to neutral. And obviously they're getting a home field advantage aspect of things. But you're right. This Florida State team is much improved, specifically on offense, right? And we talked about They got Uyunglele. That's just what happened to Florida State last year, and we're not necessarily surprised that they're having the success. They are a blue chip ratio team. Now, on the other side of that, so is Miami. What does that mean? It means for the last 3 years, 50% or more of their recruiting classes have been 4- and 5-star recruits. But when we look at the talent numbers, Miami 15th best roster, FSU number 19. So Florida State's got dudes, Miami's got dudes. When we look at strength of schedule, Miami 30th. Hardest schedule, FSU 20th hardest schedule. So look, I'm with you. The numbers are, 5.5 is where we're at. I don't know if this could be a bounce back spot for Florida State here, because you're right. They do a lot here. The only thing I guess I would say is Carson Beck's look really good this year.
Yeah.
He's top 5 in Heisman race. He has that SEC kind of experience. So he's played in big game after big game after big game. This is a big game, but he's kind of been there, done that. So I'm not surprised that the model leans in the direction of Miami, but when you look at the stats one by one,
yeah,
it starts to feel like Florida State money line.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. And so we're obviously holding the futures for Miami as well to make the playoffs,
which is it's already worth double what we paid.
Right.
No, that's not true. It's not worth double. It's worth like 80%. It's like worth 80. How can I articulate this? It's worth 1.5 times its value.
Okay. Yeah. So already some decent value just 4 weeks in, or 5 weeks in rather, to the season on this one. So, all right, I guess, yes, Steve, from how you are breaking down the game and the numbers here, do you agree with Seth there? Is Florida State money line, potentially the move, or what is the track and path for Miami to go in there and take this one?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think we're looking in here at Miami, sort of the expectation here. But from Florida State's standpoint, their offense has been what we've been talking about all year long. When Gus Malzahn and Tommy Castellanos coming in, transfer from BC, and their scheme has been really kind of this heavy run game identity with run pass options, east-west motions, jet sweeps, etc. They are 6th highest run rate nationally, 1st in the Power 4. They're 1st in EPA per rush, 2nd in yards per carry, 3rd in explosive run rate. And so that's been their identity. The only problem is Miami's a top 10 defense in stopping the run here. And so what do? Do you really put this on Castellanos' shoulders to carry this, i.e. throwing the ball, or do you continue to rely on what he's been doing his whole career, throwing a little bit, but making a lot of explosives with his legs, because that's really his bread and butter. So, I think this is going to be something that I'm looking at here defensively. That, to me, is where Florida State's going to have a little bit of trouble, where I think Miami and Beck can shine here. Again, we looked at that Virginia game. I mean, Chandler Morris absolutely picked them apart. I think Carson Beck is a better quarterback with better weapons, quite frankly. And so that concerns me a little bit. Their run defense, they gave up 211 yards. They look gassed. Their pass rush, 93rd in grading. And so, there are definitely holes here where Miami can pick apart. If Miami just continues to be who they've been this year, they're going to find themselves with opportunities to exploit this defense. So I think it's going to be a great matchup. But, yeah, I definitely have to give the edge here to Miami.
Okay. All right, yeah. I mean, it should be a fun one. Is this a night game? I hope it is. I don't know what time it kicks off, but where we go?
This is 7:30
right.
Eastern.
Yeah. All right, good. Yeah. So Sunshine State, easy for me to say, showdown between these two schools. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun one either way. But yeah, even if Miami loses, our futures tickets there don't really, I think, lose a ton of value. Based on what the cash out or numbers are at current. So should be good. It should be good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. If you are new here, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed, because every single week you will get the notification. You'll get the blast when we go live. We're talking marquee matchups every single week. We talk edges, we talk numbers, we talk free plays. All that stuff is coming up as well. So don't miss out. Our model is humming 60% win rate. Again, technically 59.5%, but we round up here. We like numbers, we round up. So we're humming, we're churning good. So we're going to keep this party rolling. Good matchups in the books here, but I want to talk about now, before we get to the free model play, boys, some of our other best bets of the week. Okay. I want to commit to 2 things. Number 1. So I have a weird play this week for best bet. So weird in a sense that it's technically 2 plays. So what I want to do is, starting into next week, I want to make sure that we're tracking, or keeping track of units won for all of us.
Okay.
So I'll go through and do the win-loss and the odds and everything and calculate it. I'll double check you guys. So we'll come into next week knowing not only win-loss records, but positive or minus units for both of us, or all of us. Okay.
I say all that. This 2-play bullshit every week, though, are you?
First of all, if I hit, then yeah, hell yeah. But let's go. It's all about units one, baby. It's all about units one. So that's where we're gonna be at.
He brought in the closer though. Shit, I didn't know we could drink Fiji water for this.
Yeah, he might be on something. I don't know. Sonny, smack that ISU play. He said last week, boys. Thank you. You're welcome, Sonny. We got another one coming up, brother. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere for that. But yes, off the numbers, best bets of the week from each of us. Just looking at the data, looking at the market, and picking a play or two out and giving it to you guys and our rationale. So. All right, I'll go first since I got the weird one, and since I'm the leader in the clubhouse so far, 4-1 is where I'm at in off the numbers best of the week so far. So, where I am going this week, I am going to the Maryland and Washington matchup. So I'm taking two plays, half unit each, half unit on Maryland plus 6.5, minus 106, and then a half a uni on the money line plus 198. This feels ugly as hell to me. I'm not gonna lie. So Maryland's offense is just god awful. There's no other way to say it. It's pitiful. It's disgusting. I'm offended by it in some cases. But I look no further than last week. Ohio State walked into Washington Stadium, travel cross country, put on a defensive clinic, right? And Maryland, we need to give them their flowers and their props. They have a very comparable and respectable D into the same ilk as Ohio State does. Maryland's going to be at home. Washington now has to travel all the way to Maryland to face that vaunted defense. I'm sort of banking on that combination of stout D and that just kind of being Washington's bugaboo, just based off of 1 week sample size. But also, some fluke stuff happening and hoping for a little variance as well. So I think 6.5 is. I like that play more confidently. We don't show any value on it from what our numbers make it, but I think, boys, this would be like the trifecta because we are also on Maryland's over win total for the year.
Yeah.
They would cash this. They would cash that play with the win over Washington. So I'm getting greedy. I'm 4-1. Why not? So half unit Maryland plus 6.5, half unit Maryland money line. That's what I'm on this week.
So if you lose, are you 4-3 now?
I'll move it to 4-3. I'll move to 4-3, but that's why I'm adding. That's why I made the comment.
Yeah, the units thing. We gotta go to switch the units. Man of science. Yeah, we got it. We got to do this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So all right.
The real loophole was just like minus 20,000 favorites.
Yeah, exactly right. But we don't do that stuff here. So
hey,
all right,
I'm not above it.
Fine.
For off the numbers, I'm not above it.
Okay.
I'm not eating pancakes. I'm not sitting 24 hours in a Waffle House.
All right. If you're not above it, then feed the people. What you got?
No. Steve goes next.
Steve is next. Then Steve is next.
Yeah. All right. So I'm doing mine. A little bit of art, a little bit of science. I'm gonna feed into this narrative here. And I'm taking Notre Dame minus 20.5, minus 105 at FanDuel. And here's my thesis here. One, from the science part, I think we make the raw number, I think minus 26 that we have here. So my thought here, is two things. One is obviously Notre Dame came off with the 2 losses early in the year to Miami and to A&M. And so their playoff hopes, if any, have been hanging on by an absolute thread. And so they're going to have to obviously, 1, win out, but then 2, win out in dominant fashion. Their last chance died when USC lost to Illinois, because that was their last chance of having a ranked opponent. Unless USC does something miraculous against Michigan, that was their last chance. And so now their resume is not just can you win, but can you win convincingly in my mind here. And so minus 20.5 over a Boise State team that really just has not shown much life in my mind since coming in as a preseason number 25. I think this is where Notre Dame is going to have to kick up the throttle. So I'm going to take them to have a good old fashioned beatdown.
Okay. All right. And one last kind of housekeeping thing I want to clarify for the calculation's sake. 1 unit plays basically for unit sake, right? Where we're betting either to win a unit or betting 1 unit. Whatever, right?
Oh, now we got rules. Okay.
We need rules. We need to be somewhat organized here with this.
Sure.
So we'll track him as 1 unit plays.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Steve, Notre Dame minus 20.5, minus 105 is the move. All right, brother. Sounds good. All right, Seth, take us home. Feed the people.
There's not a ton of value in the market via the model this week. Really, overall, we have a pretty small card trying to use the model, trying to use matchups. Illinois Purdue jumps off the page to me. In-state rivalry game. Illinois got godsmacked by Indiana, their other in-state rival. So I feel like the model kind of likes this game. Not enough for us to officially bet it. Illinois clearly obviously did their thing against USC. Purdue, we don't really know about this team. Still a lot of unknowns. So give me Illinois -9.5, -110, bet MGM.
-9.5, -110. Okay. All right. Seth and Steve, you both, forget if I mentioned or not, both tied at 2 and 3 so far for off the numbers here. So not far behind, but you know what?
Well, I'm going to bump up a bit here because I had money line Vanderbilt a couple weeks ago. So
sure. What was that, like plus 160s in that neighborhood? Somewhere in that neighborhood?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's off the numbers for this week. So yeah, we'll have the official unit tracking up and ready to go for everyone next week, so you can see all the good official standings here. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, off the numbers in the books, matchup breakdowns in the books. We have one more thing to do. Let's give out some winners, shall we? Boom. Yes. Free model play of the week. Last week, shout out, we gave out Iowa State -6.5. That cashed with ease. So looking to keep the good times rolling with this one. So let's talk about it, Seth. Let's go to the Ohio State and Minnesota matchup. Okay. So let's break it down here. Let's pull it up. Give the people, feed the people the freeness. Give them the free play, baby. What are we on?
Yes, we are on Minnesota +24. Yeah, it's a little ugly, but the reality is both these teams are very good on the defensive side of the ball. Slow pace. It's going to be limited possessions. Minnesota should be able to slow in it enough, cover this game. Obviously, Ohio State showed out defensively last week. The market, a lot of the sharp market was on Washington in that game, and they obviously, Ohio State went and did their thing. So it's a bit of a scary spot, no doubt, but the market's actually nibbled on this. Most of the 24s, there's a couple 24s, but for the most part, 23.5 at market making books. Give us Minnesota +24.
Okay, there you have it. Yeah, so still pretty widely available in the marketplace right now. You can shop around, but 24s can definitely be had. So
yeah,
all right, sounds good. Yeah, and then aside from that, for the rest of the model outlook for week 6 here, we have 6 official plays on our card. Just here's a little sneak peek, little preview of kind of where some of our current numbers and current edges lie. So obviously not giving out the numbers, but showing you the matchups and showing you the edges as well. If you want to see more, obviously head over to our site, btb-analytics.com. Consider signing up. Like I said, we're hitting 60% so far for the season. 7 and 3 back-to-back weekends. If you want to stick with us, ride with us the rest of the season, we just reduced the price. The pricing for the season-long package, so a little more value proposition for anyone potentially on the fence about it. So should be a good weekend. We got 6 plays on the books, looking to keep the good times rolling, right? So should be a fun weekend. Let's cash this Minnesota +24 for the people, right? We'll come back next week, talk about a 2-0 free play week. So looking forward to the week ahead. Seth and Steve, another good week in the books, boys. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Last reminder, don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. If you appreciate the content, helps us out tremendously. Don't forget to be subscribed to the channel. Keep those notifications on as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for us. Week 6 is on the horizon. We'll catch you next week. Until then, we'll see you.